Wes Jones. Thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me. It's great to be here.
Usually when we're thinking about bringing a new sponsor on the show, I'm like, okay, who is this person? What's the company? Let's, try it for a little while, or let's use their services. But with you, I'm like, yep, absolutely, let's go. Because you were a sponsor for Dory's show. So to me, that says all that it needs to say about whether I can trust you, whether my listeners and viewers can trust you. So do you mind if we talk about Dory for a couple minutes?
Oh, I'd love to talk about Dory.
He was really close with his sponsors on his show. So what was your relationship like with him as someone who advertised on his show? But did you have kind of a relationship off the show?
Yeah, we did. No, that's a fun story because it's kind of a full circle deal with him and I. I was, going back, I remember him first from the Seahawks, and then I've been with Cairo since about 2011, and then but was not with Dory at that time, but was also a avid listener of his show. And when the opportunity came up, to sponsor his show and work with him, I absolutely jumped at it. And when I got going with Dory, that was pre-pandemic days, and I got to spend time with him in the studio, and we would talk in between, about how the spots were going and how the response was and what we should be talking about, etc. And it's just something that kind of, as far as my friendship with him, it's just something that grew over time and really kind of picked up during the pandemic. Well, those were some scary times, especially in real estate, as things were beginning to shut down. So he'd check in, see what he could do to help. And people have always talked about how important his listeners were, and his sponsors, and I truly felt it. And by the end of things, and truly for the last 2 or 3 years, I felt that he was a friend and somebody that absolutely had my back and went to bat for me when I needed it.
You did the same thing for him, and loyalty was big to Dory. Loyalty is big to me, and I think Dory's listeners were really loyal, and I know for a fact that it meant a lot to them that you stood by Dory when he went through his whole, when cancel culture came for him.
Right.
I really think one of the things that absolutely saved his job was you, his other loyal sponsors, being like, okay, well, we're not advertising until we know what's happening with Dory. As a business owner, put this friendship aside,
sure.
As a business owner, was that a hard decision to make?
Oh, no, that was an absolute no-brainer. That was an easy decision. Unfortunately, I found out about the situation just like everybody else did. I'm pretty sure it was on social media. I remember where I was, so it had to have been on my phone. I'm thinking, oh man, what is this all about? And I called my rep and said, we got to pull these spots. And I say that it's a very easy decision because if I'm advertising with Dory Monson and Dory Monson is not there, what is it that we're doing? So yeah, that was not anything that I had to sleep on. That was an immediate decision and absolutely, stood by it.
Yeah. And I think it's comforting for me too, because, I've been known to make people angry for opinions that I don't even think are controversial. And so it's we want sponsors who understand, we're in the business of giving our opinions. And sometimes I'm sure sponsors won't even 100% agree, but who aren't going to give in to this weird cancel culture mentality that we're in as a society. unDivided is proud to add Wes Jones and Associates as the latest sponsor on the unDivided podcast. If you're thinking about selling your home, sell with Wes. Sellwithwes.com. Sellwithwes.com. A better way to sell your home.